Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm Sylvia, I'm 51, and today I'm going to be talking to you about challenges that I've overcome over my years. Now, I would say that I have had many challenges during my journey to get to where I am today. And one of the biggest examples of that is when I was 29, I decided to join the world of entrepreneurship and become a business owner, self-employed. So I decided to start up my own nursery. I should tell you that previous to that, I went to join a college at 16 to become a nursery nurse. But I didn't pass the entrance exam because one of the other challenges that I've had to face in my life is that I'm dyslexic. But what I decided to do at 29, I wasn't going to let it stop me. I decided if I can't do the qualification, I'm going to start my own nursery. So that's what I did. But the biggest challenge at 29 when I started my nursery was that I had a 6-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, and I was 7 months pregnant. Sounds crazy, but I did it because I always overcome challenges. So I started my first nursery when I was 29. Fast forward, 3 years later, I was diagnosed with a serious heart condition called cardiomyopathy. Now, this condition is a lifelong and a life-threatening disease that I still carry with me today, but it wasn't going to stop me. And I also became, to top it all, I became a single parent with 3 children. I didn't let that stop me. I started 2 other nurseries at the same time while I was trying to deal with my heart condition and to be able to be stable in that condition and to be able to get to where I am today and be able to fight that battle. I firmly believe that my ability and tenacity to be able to fight any challenges comes from my parents. Both my parents came over here in the early 60s. They came from Jamaica, they were immigrants, and that was a challenge in itself. One of the biggest challenges my dad says, and he still says, is coming to terms with the weather, especially the snow. They have never been able to get over that. But they came over here and they were faced with challenges in the early 60s with racism. For those who can remember or have seen the signs or seen history, it was always no blacks, no dogs and no Irish. So my parents had to fight through that time. We were brought up, I remember at a young age, we shared a house and we had the living area where there was 4, my mum and dad and my older brother and my 2 sisters and myself, my younger brother. There's 5 of us all together who wasn't born yet. And we lived in this one room and shared a house with many people. My parents wasn't going to let that be the place where they were going to stay. They had tenacity, they had strength, and they've driven that strength through us and said, just because you're here now, it doesn't mean that's where you're going to have to stay. So that strength was always in me, and I think that it's something that I've carried throughout my time. My parents moved from having us in one room, all sharing a house, to having a council place. They went from job to job until finally my dad secured a job in Falls, which he was there for 30 years actually until he retired. But at the same time, he ran his own business as a mechanic. So he knew that in order for him to get from where he is to where he wants to go, he had to draw on the strengths and the challenges and to be able to move forward. He knew he had to do more. My mum was a machinist and a childminder at the same time. And I feel that's where my childcare love came from a very young age. So my parents were there, and they were there always making us fight through each and every one of our challenges that we faced throughout our life. Now, I have had, like I said, many challenges. One of the things that I'm going through right now is starting a new business. So I wasn't satisfied, and I'm not satisfied with just having 1 nursery, 2 nurseries or 3 nurseries. I'm also a parenting coach known as Sylvia Parentologist. And childcare is my passion. Now, even though I wasn't able to do my childcare qualification then with dyslexia, I have figured out ways of overcoming that. I've had numerous of courses where they help me to be able to face my challenges with dyslexia and find ways of being able to figure out how I can do that. So a lot of what I do is I dictate a lot of what I say or do, and I've been able to do my teaching qualification. I've years ago now, I've been able to do my NVQ in childcare. I'm able to train other staff. I am a parenting coach. I have got numerous of qualifications underneath my belt, even though I've got dyslexia. So my motto and my thing and the things that I've learned from my parents is that challenges are there to help to test you, to train you, and enable you to be able to fight through. So my thing I would like to leave with you today is you can overcome any challenge that's in front of you as long as you have the tenacity, the resilience to be able to knock down that ball and say, what can I learn from this situation to be able to move on to my next stage of my situation. Thank you very much. I'm Sylvia.